You're listening to the REITE Club podcast, where the focus is all about helping you grow your real estate investment portfolio and live the life you want to live. Come grow with us and join our community at thereiteclub.com. And now your hosts, Sarah Larby and Alfonso Salemi.
Welcome, the REITE Club Nation, to another episode of the REITE Club podcast. It's Alfonso Salemi here with my co-host, Laurel Simmons. How you doing today, Laurel?
I'm doing great, Alfonso. And you?
I'm doing okay. It's a nice sunny day. The sun's coming in, and a lot more information on what's going on in the world, and as we get through these different challenging times. But I'm trying to keep in good spirits and keep active and keep my mind active, and talking to really some amazing people through the podcast, and even just through some video chats and phone calls throughout the day. So how about you? How you been keeping? How are you keeping busy?
Oh, well, lots to do. But you know what I'm finding is that the more I focus on other people, the less I focus on myself. And I don't want to focus on myself because, hey, I just find that it helps my mood so much if I focus on other people, talk to other people, like you said, reach out to other people, see how I can help other people. Even if it's just saying, oh, you want that recipe? Here it is. I don't care, right? It's just helping someone else.
You got it. And that's how, at the end of the day, this is how we're all going to pull through and become stronger and get better through this as well. So on that note, talking about getting better, being there for somebody, we want to ask you, the REITE Club Nation, if you will, go on and rate and review our podcast. So throughout whatever player that you're using, if it's on your iPhone or through Google Play, which I use, or there's Spotify, there's all bunch of different platforms. But if you can, please rate and review. It helps us get in front of more eyeballs now, because people are in front of their screens, but in people's earbuds as well too, right? So please, if we think you deserve it, give us a 5-star review and help us expand our reach to more and more people as we share this amazing information. But on today's podcast, we have someone that obviously yourself, Laurel, and your partner Daniel know rather well. He manages your properties, and we're talking about Georgio at Arthex Property Management. And today was a great interview, and I know you've known Georgio for a long time, so really, really great to introduce him to the REITE Club Nation today.
Yeah, Georgio Kosmidis is a proud Greek background, as you will hear in the podcast. He and his family have taken this property management company that they've had for a long time, and they're expanding, they're growing. They've provided us with great service. But aside from the company, Georgio himself he's a really nice guy. He's smart. He's funny. And although, okay, you women out there, he's really good looking. So I'm just going to say it. I think it makes him blush when I say that. So Georgio, if you're listening, you're a really good looking guy. And I know you dress well too.
Very, very sharp dressed man. That's for sure. That came up in the podcast as well too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Arthex is actually a 3rd generation property management company, and they've been working and serving in the GTA since 1972. And that's amazing. I just can't imagine the experience of property managing properties for that long, and all the different, he touched on a few of the stories, but I'm sure we didn't even scratch the surface in terms of all the experience and knowledge that he's had. And those are the type of people that you want in your corner. Like I mentioned, it's not the one case or the one property or the 3 properties or the 5 properties that Arthex or property managers manage for you. It's the experience that they're bringing, right? That when there eventually will be a problem or something come up, or a pandemic, or maybe just a late rent payment 6 months ago that looked like a big problem. Today, let's put stuff into perspective. But it's great to have somebody that knows what they're talking about, has gone through it, and has a solution readily available, or is readily available to create a solution customized to what you need. And he just demonstrates that and really embodies what the REITE Club is all about, helping others and being part of a bigger cause and an amazing team.
And two, I think it's also about not just solving problems or providing solutions, but it's the advanced stuff, right? Like setting things up so that we as property owners I don't want to say don't have any problems, because life doesn't well, it doesn't work like that, but to minimize the issues and the challenges as much as possible, so that it can be much smoother than if we do all this stuff ourselves, right?
You got it. You got it. Yeah. What is that song? I think it was the Beatles. You all need a little help from your friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the friends that you want to have in your corner. And here at the Right Club, we want to be your friends and be your support and your help as well too. So we're always looking to contact and be in communication with you. Reach out to myself, Alfonso, at therightclub.com, or you can get in contact with Laurel at the Right Club, as well as Daniel and Sarah. It's all the same, just our first names at therightclub.com, and definitely visit therightclub.com for the latest updates for everything that we're doing in our community and our different communications that we're always going to be putting out. So, but for now, I think I'm really excited to get this podcast out to the Right Club Nation. Thank you again for listening, everybody. And let's get to the podcast.
All right, let's go. So we're going to get right into it, Georgio. You are a property manager. You own a property management company. And wow, in these days, this is a very, very interesting business to be in, is it not? Generally, a lot of people don't even know what property managers do. But right now, when in this time of, as in uncertainty, as so many people call it, there's certain words I begin to really hate: unprecedented and uncertainty. Like, I want those words just ripped out of the dictionary. However, so who are you? What is Artex Property Management? What do you do?
Well, first of all, thanks, Laura and Alfonso, for the opportunity to be involved with you guys with the Right Club. It's been a few months now that we've been working together, and I'm really excited about what you guys are doing and so proud to be part of this. Just a little bit about Artex Property Management. So my background, of course, started out in the hospitality industry, but we purchased Artex Property Management in 2007. And just to give you a quick synopsis, it's a third-generation property management firm. We're proudly Canadian and family-run, and have been serving the GTA area since 1972. Artix manages properties in Peel and Halton, in the Niagara region, of course, and various properties from single detached homes, condominiums, multi-residential, commercial, industrial. You got it. You name it, we manage it. And most importantly, our team is fully licensed, and we're bonded. We have over $5 million in general liability insurance, $2 million in errors and omissions, which is important because we are human and we can make a mistake. But the most exciting thing about it is that, we do a lot of things. People think that a property manager just collects the rent or, just does a quick, financial statement, but we do so much more than that. So just to give you a quick synopsis of what we do, we have an office that's open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, with over 10 staff people working in there to serve you. We do everything from, of course, collecting the rent, doing inspections. We have a 24-hour emergency response team after hours. We do all the preparation and representation at the LTB if needed, hire, supervise, and follow up on all contracts. We hire consultants for large projects if needed. We do credit reference checks for potential tenants, advertising, and I can go on and on. Really, if you want to see all our services.
Well, that's amazing. That's a full service, and exactly the reason why Daniel, Laurel, Sarah, and myself wanted to introduce you to the community, to the Right Club Nation, because that's what we're looking for. Somebody, I wrote 1972, like that's experience. That's that you're learning a lot of things when you're starting in serving people in the property management world for that long. And there's so much wealth of knowledge and experience, especially you're the front lines, you're communicating, you listed off all the services that you have, but at the end of the day, you're the liaison for the product that these investors own, right? You're the ones that are managing it, right? It's property management, but there's so much more to it. There's people management, there's like asset management, there's finance management, right? There's all these different people management, I think, is the biggest thing. So, like we're in the midst of this, right? And of this COVID crisis, this pandemic, and a lot of the advice, things that we've been sharing, through our channels and you hear out on the news is, right, that communication. We're all going through, very similar times. So maybe shed light, a couple of minutes just on initially. I don't think April 1st was the bloodbath that everybody thought it was going to be, right? May is still down the pipeline. We still have to see what's going on, but maybe give us a quick little synopsis of what you've seen that's, from a property management standpoint with the, the different areas that you cover, and then obviously all the different types of properties that you manage as well.
Right. Yeah, certainly. I mean, one of the things I just wanted to say is that, people call us problem solvers. I always talk to my team and I say, our job is to provide solutions. And you never really know what those solutions are going to be until somebody picks up the phone. So early in March, we realized that, there was going to be some issues with what was happening, and we wanted to be proactive on it. So the biggest thing, and some of you out there who do not have a property management company that is able to do this, I think the biggest thing you can do is be proactive. I've always said the person that has your ear is the first person that's going to, reply to you and feel comfortable in working with you, because a lot of people were all about the how. How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to pay my rent? How? And so if you just change that question, instead of saying how I'm going to deal with this to who's going to deal with this, all of a sudden your brain starts working differently and you start problem solving, and it guides you to professionals that can do this, like ourselves, like you guys have been doing, bringing Harry on. And I know there's a big webinar with him on tonight. So with us, what we decided is we wanted to be proactive. We immediately in early March sent all our tenants and all our clients a quick little letter, nothing massive, just letting them know we know we're all going through some troubled times right now. We don't know what the future holds, but what we know is what we can be in charge of. So basically we're telling them we're here to assist, we're here to help, build that relationship, very important, and then guide them on how we can work together. So our first initial was a quick letter saying, if you think you're going to have a challenge on April the 1st with paying your rent, please contact our office so we can work things out. And just to let you know, just some of the, because today is the 8th, I think. We're on the 8th. Is that correct? Is April the 8th today? Yes, it is the 8th. We're losing track here. But basically, as of today, just to give you some numbers, 12% of all the rentals that we manage reached out to us and said, hey, can we work out some type of a plan, and what can you do for us? And out of those 12%, we were almost 70%. We worked out a payment plan, which, we said, okay, here's what we're going to do, because they were still unsure. They were still waiting for their EI to come in. They were still waiting for to apply to this Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit. And overall, on April 1st, we had 15% that did not pay on time or did not pay what they should have paid, which is not really too bad for our particular portfolio, because we always have about 10% anyway that we're dealing with, trying to get them to pay by the end of the month. It's just a process. It's something that we do with people. So the most important thing that I think I need to let you know is that, I know we've heard this question and people said, should we be doing N4s or eviction notices? We did do eviction notices for every single, we did N4s for every single unit that did not pay or did not pay the correct amount. However, very important, we did communicate to those tenants and say, we're going to be doing this just to make sure that we're doing our due diligence, protecting our owners, protecting our landlords, making sure when the LTB opens, we're in first in queue, and we're going to work out a plan. And most importantly, we got legal counsel that said, we certainly don't want the LTB saying that, oh, you lowered the rent. No, we didn't. We worked out a plan, and we wanted to protect ourselves. So, we constantly let people know about the Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit. We talk to our commercial tenants, which, some of them have restaurants that we manage. And of course, they're a little bit more challenging. Their rent rolls are a lot higher. They're in the $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month. So with those, we had to do a little bit of more finessing. Overall, it's communicating. And overall, so far, this month is going very well. We'll see how May turns out. But with everybody being able to apply with the Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit yesterday and today and tomorrow, I think, we should be okay. It's all about communicating, Alfonso, like you said, and just, do not be afraid to talk to your tenant, build that relationship, be the first one to say, I'm here to help you. What can we do to work together?
So I know, Georgio, that you work with landlords, property owners who have like one property, and you have owners who have, I don't know, 50 doors or a multi-unit. So, anywhere from, I don't know, 4 or 6. 50, 100. So like, tell us some stories. Like how does this work? Like how do you work with these people? Because I don't think a lot of people understand exactly what property managers do and how much value you give both to the tenant and the property owner.
Yes, thank you, Laura. Yeah, I'd love to talk, and I love stories, as I said. So I think that's what makes us unique. We do offer all the services that maybe other property management companies do. I don't know, but the most important thing is we like to customize our service according to the clients, according to what and who and where they are and what they're looking for. So let's take an example. I'll give you a quick story. So about 5 years ago, met a fine gentleman in Mississauga. He had one rental property, and it was in Hamilton. And he said, in the next 6 to 12 months, I'm going to be moving out of the country with my wife, and I would like you to also manage this property as a duplex because he had his basement finished. And then I'm looking at purchasing a unit a year with the money that we're going to be saving. So to make the long story short, that client is still a very good client. Now we manage 6 properties for him. One of them is a duplex. They're still out of the country. So we've set up, withholding taxes for them. I'm not sure if you're familiar. If you're a non-resident Canadian, you have to pay either 25% gross or net. I'm not going to get into it, but if somebody wants more information, they can certainly contact us on that. So that's one simple, that was a client that was looking to grow his his rental portfolio and work with us. And we've been helping him while he's been abroad, make sure that the properties continue to raise in value, that they're rented, we're getting the rent rolls and paying appropriately the taxes that need to be paid on his behalf. I'll give you another story. This is a good one. So about 4 years ago, a gentleman in his early 80s who's been in the management acquisition for building and acquisitions for years came to us and says, I have 35 properties, 135 units, but I'm having challenges. Self-managed with, he had some employees, but really it wasn't a team, it wasn't a property management company. And that one was unique. So for them, in the first 60 days, we evicted 35 people that weren't paying. The sheriff said that we were their #1 client, but that's not where we wanted to be. Then after that, we worked with vetted contractors that we have, offering very good rates, and refurbished a lot of these units. So he had apartment buildings, single units, commercial units, industrial units, everything, you name it. In 6 months, we had it up and running. We were collecting, fully rented, collecting an extra 30% because we increased the value of these units. And we were collecting almost $2 million, 2.1, I don't know where we're at now, 2.1 million a month just in rent rolls. So that's that's a different challenge. And the last story I'd like to talk is about you, Laurel and Daniel. I remember a few years ago when you guys came to our office in Burlington, and you said, okay, we got 12 properties out there, all closing on this date, they're brand new, we want to rent them all within 60 days, what are we going to do? So that was a unique situation, which was so exciting. It was really unique with us as well. We worked with Tarion. We worked in helping you guys because we have access to commercial prices for appliances. We decided that it's going to be executive rentals. This is what we're going to do. We even opened up a specific website just for your properties, at that time in Niagara and the Lake. So that was a unique situation. And then, I remember when one of the properties became vacant and I had an insurance company that called me about a fire. You guys were quick as well. We became creative, and we said, well, why don't we make this into a full furnished unit? And we were able to do that. And we went out, our team, and made sure we got the appliances, the furniture, the carpets, the utensils, whatever needed to make sure that we can rent it. We rented it. We collected 6 months up front. So it was, again, these are the services that you don't hear about, but this is what we do that's unique. And these are just 3 stories about, 3 different types of people that we work with. So
yeah, I remember that because it was really funny. Like, it's like, you buy 12 properties all at once and then you go, oh my God, what have we just done? We gotta rent these things. And that's just a little bit of an oops, what have we done? Anyway, but I do remember walking into that building around the corner from where we live, and you and Catherine, your wife, were in there. You were putting cutlery in the drawers. And I think one day I'd been in there and there was nothing, and the next day it was like, oh my God, actually it was so nicely decorated. I remember Daniel looked at me and he said, so can we move in here? I said, no.
That's awesome. And that is so important, right? As we always say, like, you need people on your power team. You need realtors, you need mortgage brokers, lawyers, insurance, right? And a property manager really, I can't stress enough, is that link to communication between your client and your product. Right. And that's going to be that link of that communication, the customized solution that, like you just said, that you created for Daniel and Laurel and probably hundreds, if not thousands of other people that, you create for those. That's by getting to know who your client is, know what their issue is, know what their problem is. And I like how you said, it's not how, it's who, right? So, okay, so this is the problem that we have. Who is going to be the expert? Who is going to be the best person that we have for this? And you have your own power team, right? You mentioned the contractors and, a part of your team, how when you have to get into actually doing work to the property, you have to communicate to the client. Like, people in our community, in the REITE Club community, I don't think we get into real estate investing to manage properties, to touch buildings, and to, oh, wow, look at that brick. Oh, wait, that's great floor. Like, honestly, I think there's too many choices out there. It's just like 3 faucets and 3 types of floor. And like, it should be really, really simple. But when investors are looking for a good property manager, and, in your case, a great property manager, what are some of the things that in that solution that they should look for to say, hey, what is it, reporting every month? Is it contact? Is it financials? What is a key thing that, say, if you have nothing else, this is what your property manager really should be doing, the fundamentals?
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, I want to say about the REITE Club, that's what I was so impressed about. The first time I came to your Burlington conference, and I got to meet the other sponsors, from from your brokerages to the lawyers to you guys. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, very professional. And it's so important to have people that are involved in the real estate industry. That is so important. There are lawyers, but they're lawyers and lawyers. They're accountants. I always say to everybody I work with, you should, the people that are offering value and creating value for you, don't be worried about how much you're paying them, because that's what you have to look at, is the value they're offering to you. It's not the cost, because long term, it can cost you a lot more money when you're trying to do it yourself. Everything works perfect when everybody's paying the rent and you're collecting. But when shit hits the fan, if I'm allowed to say that word, and you are at the LTB, and it costs you thousands and thousands, that's when you realize the importance of a good team, a professional team. So with me, if you were looking for a property management company, I guess the first thing, you want to look for a company that is certified, that is insured, that has an office. And I know today we're not using offices as much, but basically has a team that's open, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, can answer your calls, and has experience. I would say the number 2 thing is that they're also investors. It's important. We're not only entrepreneurs in the management field, but we as a family are also investors. I'm not just saying myself and Catherine, which, as I said, that's a family-run business, but my children as well are also investors. So when you're dealing with, we have a different mindset. We understand the importance of a good lawyer, a good accountant, the importance of a good contractor, the importance of a good realtor, right? So, what is their team asking? Do they have a team in place? And who are they? Now, I always tell clients, if you have somebody that you are working with, you have a great realtor, great, we're going to work with them. Very important. If you have a great contractor or handyman that you're happy with, great, we'll work with them. But if you don't, we got engineers, we got plumbers, we got electricians, we got builders, we got renovators, we got concrete, mortar joints, brick, you name it, we have it, because of all the years of experience. And these people are offering volume discounts just because we give them the business first. And when we call them on a Saturday at 3 a.m, they're answering the phone and they're going out. So again, mitigating the loss for your home. It's all about the value. So find out, what services they're offering. What are you paying for those services? If there's any, little, fine words at the bottom, we're all inclusive. When we give out a proposal, here's what we charge, here's what it is. And it depends on who you are and what you're looking to do and where you're looking to go with that. So those are some of the pointers that I think are very important that you check out, and you can do that with us at www.artix.ca. It's a plethora of information on our website. And you can also click for a consultation on there, and we'd be more than happy to have a good, help you to the best of our ability, because we know that long term, you reap what you sow.
I think that's a really important point. What you mentioned about, you're like the focal point. So, because I know for our properties, we had an issue with a property where there was a leak in the foundation, right? And it was like, well, what do we do? And you brought somebody in. So it's really helpful, like you said, not to have to worry about the who. I already have the who. I have you, right? I don't
Correct.
have to worry about, okay, who's going to do the flooring and who's going to do the repair and who's going to do this. And people say, well, I can do it myself. Well, yeah, you can, but you're probably going to pay more. You have to spend a whole bunch of time figuring out what it is you want, getting different quotes and all the rest of it. And it's just, for me, it's a nice feeling to know that I've got my who. I just pick up the phone or send an email or a text, and there you are. So I think people, like, even people who have just one property, right? It's not about having multi properties. It's one. That can still save you a lot of time and energy and stress and money.
Yes. Yes, Laura. I think it's important because we will get at multiple quotes. We do this every day. So we know when somebody gives us a quote, if we think it's high, and I'll give you an example of this. I work with an engineer at another property in Burlington, and we got quotes for a really big job project. And for that project, they came in, we got closed bids and it came in really good. And then we wanted them to do a little bit of waterproofing in the front. And they came in at over $20,000. And I said, for that area, it seems high. So at that time, I just closed the phone, got rid of the engineer, called another contractor that we work with in Hamilton. They came in, looked at it, big company, William Groves, you may know of them, and they came in at $9,700. So because that's what they specialize in, just waterproofing. So I said to the engineer, you need to add them onto your bidding list because yeah, these guys were good to do the cladding of the building, but they weren't your best person to quote to do the waterproofing. And this saved a lot, we're talking 11,000, okay, $10,000 because we made that extra call. I hope that these are the little value systems that you're not going to get if you're trying to manage them yourself. And I understand you're just starting out, you're trying to save money, but I don't know if that's where you want to save your money. I think, you want to make sure that you put enough money aside, that you have a property that's cash flowing for you, that you can invest in an excellent team of professionals to help you.
Absolutely. And that's the best part is that that's what you and your company and your staff and your team is focused on. It's finding the best of the best, that all the things that you need, right? So as myself, as an investor, or, other investors out there, we don't need to go and do that research and to find 5 or 6 different waterproofing companies, carpenters, plumbers. You guys are going to be working with those trades, know the areas. And because it's not only my 1 or 3 or 10 properties that I'm managing, you're managing my 3 or 10, Laurel and Daniel's 10, and everybody else's 10. So you have that power by numbers where you can say, hey, look, this is the opportunity that I have. So that's amazing part is that you're even building your team of the people that that are helping you. So I want to switch gears just for a quick second and ask a practical question today. So say I'm one of your property owners. I'm on your roster of properties that you manage for me, and now May 1st is coming around. I was just fixing things up in the last month or two, and now I have a vacancy. I want to rent it out for May 1st. Now we're in the midst of this. How are you underwriting, or how are you screening clients that are coming in and applying for my open vacancy? Well, what's a good tip or something that we can do out there today as we have a vacancy?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's a great question. And in fact, I just listed a property today in Oakville, 2295 Marine Drive. If anybody's interested, it's coming available in 30 days. But I work with professionals as well, Alfonso. So we have a team of professional realtors that we work with from Toronto all the way to Niagara, and we rely on their strengths, and then we assist them with how they prepare and how they vet those clients. So these realtors, before they go out, they know what we're looking for, and there's some things that we're always interested in, and of course financials is one, credit checks is another. I find if somebody is really concerned about their credit bureau score, they really don't want to screw that up. We look at, where are they employed? Can they afford it? A lot of people want a nice executive home, but, we all do, but can we really afford it? So we really analyze their financials. We really want to look at, sometimes we get letters, not sometimes, most of the time, if we feel we get letters from, from their employer that they are currently working or they're currently getting paid. So right now, in this particular time frame, are you working? I know that my staff, for example, are all still working full time, getting full pay because we're an essential business. If you're not working, how are you paying your bills? Let's look at your credit check. So, we want to look at, their visas and MasterCards and where they're at. We ask a lot of questions, or where do they see themselves? And I truly don't think a lot of people are looking to move in this time unless they were, it's a unique situation. So we'll see how it goes with this listing. But very important to vet them. Not only a credit check, do reference checks, of course, but I find reference checks, if you're calling on who they recommend, they're always going to they're always going to say good things about them usually. So it's kind of, okay, great. Oh, I called them. I really want to dig deep. I want to look at their bank accounts. I want to look at their credit cards. I want to get a letter from their employer, talk to their employer currently, and see if they can afford this executive rental, or maybe they should be going to another unit that's more or lesser cost for them. So I think that's where we would start. I think those are the most important things that you should focus on.
Amazing. Great tips. Thank you.
And it struck me too when you said, working with real estate agents, because they have a specific skill set in that area. So again, you're leveraging other professionals so that you can provide your clients, the property owners, with the best service there is. Because I really, like I said before, I really think that a lot of real estate investors don't understand the value that you give to people, because it's like if you just have one or two properties, you have a full-time job. Your full-time job is looking after the properties of other people, right? I mean, in essence, that's what it is. And people who have one or two properties, or whatever it is, 100, anything in between, they have other things to do. So I like to pass off those things which I don't know very much about, or maybe I know something about, but I don't do very well, or I don't have the interest in it, or whatever it is, or the time, so that I can focus on the things that I'm best at. And it just makes sense to me. I never understand why people say, I want to manage my own property. I really want to know what's going on. Well, okay. Do you give reports to your tenant or your landlords every month?
Absolutely.
Like what do you tell your
So I guess the biggest thing is, with a lot of people that want to manage it on their own, it's a control issue. If you're looking to grow, it's going to be very difficult for you. And the other problem is you get too close to the tenant. With us, it's like the tenant, it's always, hey, it's without prejudice. It's not personal. It's professional. We're doing our job, and we want to keep you as a tenant, but you got to be paying your rent, and you got to keep you got to keep your backyard and your front yard clean. You got to mow the lawn. We agreed on no dogs. Now you have a dog. I mean, and there's so many issues that an owner can get involved in, and they can get in trouble because they go, I'll pay you next week. Well, we understand, yes, you're going to pay us next week, that's fine, but we're still going to do an M4 to protect us. So it's about doing things that we're unconsciously competent at, that you are not even aware of. So yes, of course, every month we do reports, and if there's an emergency situation, we act quickly, but if there's something that can wait, we get quotes, and we inform our owners. We have access, like I said, to, if your appliance breaks, we're not going to, first of all, is there a warranty on the appliance? We know right away, is there a hot rental company involved? These are the things that sometimes you don't think of. Even how to set up your lease agreement. Are they going to be paying for the hot water rental or not? We recommend they should be, because if there's a problem, they can call them. These little things. Of course, we give financial reports, and we deposit the difference of the money every month into each client's or owner's accounts. However, really, the tenants barely ever know who the owner is unless they wanted to know them. We're basically their middleman, and we're kind of the protector, as you might want to say. So yes, I guess if you really want to grow your, I mean, you may inherit a property and you're saying, oh, I just inherited it, and I want to see what I can do with it. Or, you may have an old property that you've got and you want to renovate it and you want to get more value in it. We're there to serve with that. So, we have access. Insurance brokers, we can get you really great quotes because we work with a lot of insurance companies. And I know Hub is one of the good ones that, we have, and they're part of the REITE Club as well. And we use them. But if for commercial, we have a certain type of other brokers, and everybody's got their unique skill set and and what they're really good at. My job is, to find the best fit for that particular client, to save them, make it as affordable as possible, but make sure that their home is increasing in value and that they don't have to ever, have sleepless nights about what's happening with their property, because
You know what? As you were talking, a thought just crossed my head. I'm going to throw it out here. I thought, oh my God, there's a tagline for you. Removing the emotion from property management, because that's exactly what you do. It's like you were talking about the connection with the tenant and all the rest of it. You're taking that away from the property owner. You remove the emotion, and now it's a business. You're fair. The tenants are taken care of, but it takes that emotional component out, and it becomes then a lot easier to deal with, because we all know as soon as emotion enters any equation, doesn't matter what it is, then things tend to blow up, right?
Correct. And that's so important. And it just makes it easier, because you can tell us what, we'll call you. They'll say, well, we can do this. And then, we'll be the middle person. We know what they can do or what they can't do. Ultimately, we want to always keep our tenant if they're a good tenant. They might go through a challenging time and they can't pay now. But if they're calling us and they're willing to work something out, I want to work with them. And if I had somebody that's been renting for 2-3 years and all of a sudden they don't pay, and we do have to go to the LTB because we do have to, I'm not trying to get them out, because I know if I get them out, I got to get back in there. Even if it's, paint touch-ups or cleaning the carpets or refreshing, and then we have to advertise and market and get another good tenant. So ultimately, if I feel good with that tenant, we want to keep that tenant. We're going to work with that tenant, but we're also going to protect the landlord if when we go to the LTB, making sure that we set up a section, 90, 98 to protect them, or 97 to protect them if something occurs and that we can evict if we have to. You know what? We don't want to get to that point, but if we have to, we will. And you're not going to be involved with it. It's going to be very professional. There's not going to be no emotions. It's going to be calm, cool. We go into the LTD. We know exactly what we're doing. We're in and out in half an hour. I picked up a lot of customers there actually because people that wanted to do it themselves say, oh my God, are you a paralegal? I said, no, I'm in the property management business, but we understand this is what we do every day. So, and we don't charge for that, where if you would have had to get a paralegal to go in there for an hour or 2 hours, or even they go for half an hour to prepare, it would have cost you X amount of dollars. For us, it's all included in your actual monthly fee.
Well, and that's why I want to make sure that it's not understated with the experience and the knowledge that you and your team in the collective years of a third generation business, that, it's not just that one case that you're taking to the landlord. It's the years and decades of experience and knowledge that you're bringing to that case, and that allows it to do it that quick. Because I think, you see these memes or these great sayings out there. It's like, you're not paying me for the 2 hours of work that I'm doing. You're paying for the thousands of hours or hundreds of thousands of hours that I've spent learning and doing this, or tens of thousands of hours doing this ahead of time, that experience. So that's amazing when somebody like you in the property management company and Arthex can be in your corner and have all that experience. That's an asset, like you said, that brings so much value to the investment world, and thank you for that. So I think we've reached the point of the podcast that we're going to do our lightning round. So Georgia, are you ready for the lightning round?
I guess so. Should I be writing this down?
Okay.
All right.
Alfonso, you go first. You ask the first question.
Oh, okay. All right. So, all right. I will switch it up a little bit. Okay. So first question of the lightning round. What is the best advice you have ever received from another investor or at a networking event? And because we're in the midst of this, or an online webinar?
That's very good. Very good question. What is the best advice? I guess the best advice that I received was from a good friend of mine, and you may know of him, and we got the opportunity to meet him a few years ago, Robert and Kim. We actually hosted him in Athens, Greece a few years ago. And we were walking through the Acropolis and the Parthenon. He's looking at all these old buildings. He goes, oh my God, what an opportunity. The best advice was cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. I can't say anything else. If you're going to invest in anything, always invest in cash flow.
All right, I'm making a note. Robert Kiyosaki. All right, second question. What is your favorite resource for real estate investing? And it can be anything. It can be a book, a training, a person, event. Like, what is your favorite resource?
Well, first of all, I got to say, you guys as the REITE Club are really stepped that up, and you're doing it. You're right on the cutting edge. You're looking. You're not only just taking something that has existed in the past, or trying to duplicate, but you're also creating and adding value to everybody. I mean, so first, I know that everybody that's listening to this, or you're going to be listening to this podcast, if you haven't been to a REITE Club event or a REITE Club webinar, I highly recommend it. They're cutting edge. They're always looking to provide solutions for every real estate investor, whether it's 1 unit or 100 units. So that's number one. I mean, so I'm very happy to be a part of this. And I know Daniel reached out a few years ago when I was on my own path at that time, but very excited. Number two is, for me, it's reading. And I just mentioned an author that's very important to me, Robert Kiyosaki. Of course, another individual that I got connected through you guys is Dahlia. As you know, she wrote a great book and a best-selling author. There's a lot of Canadian authors that are out there. There's a lot of information, but mostly for me, it's the associations that we're involved with, like the IHM Association, you guys, CCI, ACMO, the Better Business Bureau. There's a lot of information out there to protect us and to guide us when we're making decisions. So I always listen to people that are investors. If I'm going to get advice, I'd like to get advice from somebody that's already gone through that path. So, if you're looking for a great lawyer or a great accountant or a great mortgage broker, manager, etc., talk to people that are using them. Get references. Even if you're looking for a property management, I say to everybody, my lawyer and my accountant are the highest paid people I got, because they save me a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of anguish.
Absolutely. Great advice. So yeah, having some really good people in your corners is huge. Okay, question number 3. And I'll ask you the question. I'll give you one limitation to the answer. So question number 3, what is the one attribute that has made you most successful? And for those of you that have met Georgio at the REITE Club, you can't say being a sharp dressed man. So it can be another attribute that has made you most successful other than your amazing style.
Oh, Alfonso, I'm going to tell you, this is the most important thing, and I'm going to say it here. The secret to success, I feel, is that you become what you think about and act on every single day. The secret to success in life is that you become what you think about and act on. Actually, what you think about, believe, and act on every single day. I heard that many, many, many years ago, and it stuck with me. So being grateful, I get up every morning. Every morning, my ritual is I start off I'm alive, I'm above ground. It's a great day. So being grateful, focusing on what is going well in your life today is so important. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but be grateful, focus on what you truly want. If everything went your way, if you had all the things that you needed, who would you want to be? What would you want to do? What would you want to have? So with me, I many years ago, I wrote down who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to have. And of course, we've been fine tuning that over the years. And every morning, it's about getting my thought, and forgetting about what's missing and focus on what's available, and forget about complaining and focus on gratitude. I think the biggest challenge in the world is that we think that when we criticize, condemn, and complain, that we're giving poison to somebody else, but it's basically giving it back to us. So what you say is what you get. So again, going back, the biggest secret in my life is that the biggest secret is that I become and I receive whatever I think about and believe and act on every single day. I don't know if that's a bit too philosophical, but I am Greek, so I have this philosophical mindset, but it's really helped me in the last 20 years of my life. It's been going, vertical in every area of my life because of that. And I'm not just talking business, with my wife, with my children, with my grandchildren, with my finances, with people, with joining and associating with positive people like yourselves. Nothing is coincidental in life. That's why we're here today and we're doing this.
Amazing advice.
That's a really good answer, Georgio. So number 4, what do you typically...
Oh, we got another one.
Oh yeah, we got 4 questions. This is it, the last one. What do you typically do on a Sunday morning?
Oh, I sleep in. We love to lounge around and really sleep in and relax. Sundays are usually what I call my buffer days. So wherever you are, if you're not familiar with Dan Sullivan, I know you are. He talks about free focus and buffer days, and the importance of having free days and the importance of having focus days and buffer days. In fact, he says that anyway, I'm not going to get into what he says, but the buffer day is about relaxing. It's about I relax, I enjoy my not having to do anything for my business or my family. And then I buffer, which means I prepare and I plan. Usually most Sundays, unless it's a holiday or we're having a birthday, I plan my week, my next 7 days. I'm a planner. I feel that people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So my Sundays are my buffer day or my plan day.
I love that. That's amazing, Georgio. This has been an incredible interview, an amazing podcast. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and sharing your amazing knowledge. If the REITE Club Nation wanted to get in touch with you, what is the best way?
Well, thank you, Alfonso and Laurel. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the opportunity, for letting me speak a little bit with you guys. If somebody's looking to get a hold of us, there's 3 ways. Number 1 is through our website, www.arthex.ca, spelled ARTHEX.ca, and in there you can click on consultation, and you can ask us whatever you want. Number 2, you can call us on 905-340-0622, or if you're still paying long distance, we do have a 1-800 number. You think I would know it out by heart? No, but it is on my website. The third way is you can send us an email directly at info@arthex.ca, info@arthex.ca, and we'll be more than happy to assist you with all your needs.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so very much, Georgio, and have a wonderful rest of the day and a great week, because I know you are, because you plan for it, right?
That's right. Thank you so much, Laurel. Thank you, Alfonso. It was great speaking with you guys. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe and have fun tonight. I know you're going to have a great webinar this evening as well.
Thanks, Georgio.
Bye-bye. So, Alfonso, wow. Like I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that if I didn't already have Georgio as a property manager, I'd hire his company, because I know like what he's done for our properties, and I can see how much value he adds to the whole world of not just property management, but property investment, right? Being a landlord. Like, what do you think? What's your take on it?
Absolutely. And we talk about this all the time, whether it's our founders meetings, our operational calls, or at our REITE Club meetings on our webinars. We have to treat this like a business. It's not treat this like a business. I'm sorry to tell everybody, here's the harsh news. It is a business. This is a business, right? And, you touched upon it in the podcast, removing the emotion out of it, right? Oh, I want to be friendly. I want to be a nice landlord. I want to make sure everybody likes me. Well, that's going to be great. That's awesome. And kudos to you that you want to do that. But there are going to be some facts and brutal facts that you have to deal with in business, right? And having a property manager like Georgio, like Arthex in your corner, or somebody like them in your corner that's helping you out, that's going to be crucial in the success of your business. Right. So, and how you prepare for those things that are eventually going to come up, and on the systems and things that you do have in place. Like he said, he was naming off this form, that form. I know everybody's familiar with the major ones, the N4 and N11s and all those types of things, but they have a database where they can just go back to, and they know, oh, this happened. Okay. No 2 situations are going to ever be the same, but heck, are they like 95, 99% very similar? Yeah. You're going to have to, take it with a customized approach, right? Each scenario. But when you have the experience of very similar things happening on, that was great. So lots of amazing information. I took a whole bunch of notes and things that made me think about today, and even his advice about, underwriting or really kind of screening for clients in the midst of all this. It's still going back to the fundamentals and the things that you always do. It doesn't just change, right?
You know what I thought was really telling is that the fact that when he goes to the landlord tenant board in Ontario and is in and out in half an hour, that's a huge deal. But B, has a lot of landlords coming up to him and saying, "Can we hire you?" Like that just illustrates that there's so much value there, right? Because I don't know about you, I never want to go in front of the landlord tenant board. But if our whatever happens, because life happens, right? If something happens that we have to go there, well, I guess who's going to be there to represent me? I don't have to go.
Absolutely. I've coined it, and I've coined the landlord tenant board as hell on earth. Strictly that is my opinion only. And maybe if you're sharing that opinion, let me know. But once you ended up there, there's so many steps. I think that's literally plan Z. Like if you got to go through the whole alphabet, and if you have to get there, yes, you do. And it's unfortunate. And I've been there for sure. And it is hell on earth. But having someone that's clear, concise, that gets to the point and deals with the facts and is not intimidated and not scared of the system because they've been there and done it so many times is invaluable. And yeah, like again, if I never have to go to a landlord tenant board, whether it's, Georgio or whether it's a paralegal, I will be a happy man, not having to ever go to a landlord tenant board. And that's just one thing, right? Repairs, maintenance, client calls. He mentioned calls at Saturday at 3:00 in the morning and those types of things. That's not why we invest in real estate. We invest in the real estate to allow us to do the things that we want us to do. And it's the fuel, right, for our vehicles of our lives. But that's why you get somebody. It's the same way. Just think about it. If you are out there and saying, hey, I'm going to do my own property management. And listen, I'm guilty of that. And I live in one of my properties and I manage it because I live here. That's just my brain. But if I was going to go and start a legal case or do my own accounting or maybe go and be a real estate agent or become a mortgage broker. Think about the time, effort, and knowledge that I'm going to have to acquire, right? So if a property management, I think, falls in that category, you can become a great property manager if you really have to, or you work with some of the best and, you spend your time on what you're already good at and become better at that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hand over the stuff you don't want to do to someone who does it really well. And then you can focus on what your passion is. And if you want to get more properties, go right ahead. If you want to do something else, go right ahead. But you don't have to be dragged down into the details and the time. And I'm going to say it, the time sucking details.
That's right. That's right. And another thing that I just thought about that didn't come up in the podcast, if you have a property manager that's managing that many properties and you let them know that, hey, I'm interested in buying more properties like XYZ, maybe part of that portfolio, he has another landlord that's saying, hey, they're looking to kind of offload or get rid of XYZ property. Hey, why don't you put yourselves in contact with each other? And, that's another possibility.
Yeah, actually, I do know that they offer that service. That we didn't have time to talk about it in the podcast, but I do know because we know Georgia really well, and yes, they do offer that service. They offer a lot of connections and will help investors find other properties if that's what the investor wants to do. So yeah, that's another reason to go to a really good property manager because they've got their fingers right on the pulse of what's going on. Right, they're out there. They see the properties. They know what's available and what's not available. They know what areas not to go into. They know what areas to focus on, because that's what they do.
And when you're doing your due diligence on a property that you're going to want to buy, probably going to want to see the financials and if the property manager has those. So that's another great contact. Again, 1,000 reasons, maybe 1,000,000 reasons on why you need a great property manager on your team. And Georgio and Arthex is just a great example of them. And just general people on your team. So Laurel, thank you so much for being on my team, my power team of my life, my career, my business, and an amazing co-host today on the podcast. Really enjoy doing these and interviewing amazing people and putting out the content that we do for the REITE Club Nation. So if you haven't already, get onto the website. It's thereightclub.com. Stay in touch with us. Reach out to us. There's a lot of different ways for you to reach out. So you pick the one that's going to be the best for you. And we'll go from there. We want to help you grow your business, your real estate investing career, and yourselves at the end of the day. So so thank you, Laurel, for being an amazing co-host.
Well, thanks, Alfonso. And so how are we going to end this? What do we tell people to do? Come grow with us.
We're going to get it right one of these days. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the REITE Club podcast and joining our community of real estate investors online at thereightclub.com, where the focus is about helping you grow. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks from your hosts, Sarah Larby and Alfonso Salemi.